Hi, just updating you all from Amsterdam. So behind me is the Museum. I probably mispronounced that, but it's very pretty. It's got all the artists like Rembrandt and other people I don't know in it. Anyway, haven't been in, not intending to. I wanted to update you on what is going on while I'm in Europe. So I actually, first of all, I just want to start with a bit of a praise report. So in February of 2021, I ran out of money while in California at ministry school, and then I have been living on miracles and blessing ever since. And that kind of gave me the courage to come here. When I was about to leave, I still didn't have a place to stay. I only had $100 US, and it wasn't looking naturally possible, but I knew that I had been told to come here, and God had been saying Norway over and over and over again. So I decided to just trust and obey, step out of the boat again and come along, knowing that He would come through, and He certainly has. And yesterday I realized I actually have more money in the bank now than I did when I was working up until 2018. So that was pretty amazing when I realized that. I've had lots of unexpected blessings, and I've never asked anyone for money. It's just purely God has blessed people and then they have blessed me. And yeah, whether God told them to or not, or they felt like they were paying me back for things that I've lent them or things that I've done for them. It's just been really great. So I went to Norway. I still don't quite understand why I went to Norway, but I woke up on Saturday morning and God said, pack everything that you have with you because you're not coming back. Your assignment is complete. So I hadn't paid for the luggage. I've only paid for handbag and carry-on. So I only took handbag and carry-on, and so I will have to be going back at some point. But when I came to Amsterdam, I didn't have a specific word from God to come to Amsterdam and do anything. But the day before I left, I felt like God said, you'll be in Amsterdam for a few days. So I landed in Amsterdam on Saturday, and what I hadn't known at the time was that Rolling Stone had been in town. There was no accommodation, everywhere was full, and that's why I was struggling to find anything online. In my experience though, if you find things online, if you just turn up, things are usually about $20 cheaper than online because the third parties add on something, even if it's, the budget sites, and it doesn't save you any time, and then you've got to run around and find the hotel that you've paid for. So I just figure, hop off the train, walk into a hotel and see what rooms they have. Anyway, that's what I've been doing the last few years. So I've done that this time, and everywhere was full. There was no room in the inn. I felt a little bit like Mary, and turned up to, before then, I felt like Holy Spirit was saying, come around this street, turn around this corner, and so I followed, and then the street that He led me to had like 4 or 5 hotels on it, and so they all had full on their front door, but I decided to go in anyway and just see why God had led me here. And the second one that I went into, they said, yeah, we're totally full, all booked up, but let me check for you anyway, probably trying to make me feel better, or make them feel better that they were trying to help me. Anyway, I knew when they said I'll check that there would be one room that they hardly ever use, that they'll find is free. And sure enough, there was a single room and hardly ever used, and it was free. And I know why it wasn't used, because it smelled like wheeze. But yeah, with the air on for a little bit, it aired out a little bit and no longer smelt. So the moment I walked in that room, I felt this burden to pray, and so I prayed until it lifted, until that burden lifted, and then I went and got dinner, and I came back, the burden returned, so I prayed until the burden lifted, and had a really good night's sleep. And then Sunday, wandered the city, found a really great church, and went back to my hotel to book another room. And they had lots of rooms that morning and were unlikely to run out of rooms, but for some reason they had, and so they sent me to another hotel. And I had felt throughout the day that you're actually going to be staying in this area where the church was that I'd went to, but all of the hotels that I came across there were really fancy ones. So the hotel that they sent me to, which was their sister hotel, was in the area where I had felt like I was going to be staying. So I stayed there last night, and again will be tonight. And there's definitely been something very miraculous and stuff about where I've been staying. And I just watched the Bethel Sunday morning service this afternoon. It's already Monday now. And Chris Valentin was talking about how faith, the righteous will live by faith, and that's definitely what I feel like I'm doing. I know that he has told me to come here, and I keep getting confirmations while I'm here that I'm in the right place. One thing that Chris said was when Peter stepped out of the boat, that was a moment of faith, but then he started to sink when his eyes were no longer on Jesus. And so it was just a really good reminder that while I'm out here walking on the water, I need to keep my eyes on Jesus, and if I come across any trials, don't look at them like Peter looked at the storm and the waves. So yeah, tomorrow I'm going to Rotterdam to join the Flood Rotterdam evangelizing events, things that they're doing there. And later in the week to Awakening Europe. And then after that, there are some cities that people from Awakening will be going out to evangelize those cities. And at the moment, I feel like God is leaning me towards Belfast, but there are other options. So depending on how the Spirit leads, and if He wants me to come this way and then check that I'm still listening to Him and go another way, yeah, we'll see if that plan changes. But yeah, thank you so much for those of you who've been praying for me. I really appreciate your prayers to continually grow my faith as I'm out here walking in faith. I need more of it. So yeah, I hope that this encourages you to trust in God for everything that you need.